Namaste. I'm feeling into the field that these discourses are touching. People watching on YouTube and people watching on Facebook. I've had a lot of different comments from people all over, and a lot of also some personal interaction with people who are following, and they may be students of mine, and I'm getting to hear their comments. And you might be seeing some of these comments yourself and what's in the field. Yeah. And the last few days, I personally have found it a bit challenging because I can see talking about the wounds of the masculine have provoked a lot of feelings, and there's almost like a resistance. I don't know what you're feeling. I mean, I've heard a few comments. One comment from James, he spoke about hitting a police blockade and feeling very powerless, which is a really big wound for many people, to feel powerless in their life, in the moment, And then Elizabeth mentioned coming across the wounded heart in someone she's close to, and being really afraid of it, actually. That fear, not feeling safe around the wounded heart. What does the wounded heart, how does it react? How can you easily trigger it, easily hurt it, that kind of thing. Yeah, and just a few comments about, what it's like to be a man and being in this current state of existence we're living in right now. So there's quite a lot coming up, and the last discourse I spoke into, we were looking at the giving aspect of the masculine. If we place the word masculine, the giving aspect of existence. So giving comes through the masculine very beautifully, but it also has a way of coming through the feminine. And the dance between giving and receiving is a huge dance in existence. And on the path into sacred sexuality, it's also like the foundation. As we go into the sacred sexual energy, this is foundational, to be able to give and to be able to receive, whether you are a man or a woman, to be able to. So men are generally giving more. I don't know if they're giving more, but they're definitely holding more of a dominant space of deciding how the lovemaking looks like. So that looks like giving in sex. And women are holding the more what looks like receptive space in sex. But as we also start looking into the feminine wounding, we know a lot of feminine wounding in many women, actually, and in men, is around receptivity and not being able to receive because they've cut away from their sexuality. They've cut away from yoni, they've cut away from the vagina. Cut away is such a strong word, but they've disconnected. They've pushed this part of their being away. So many women, especially on the planet, are trying to re-engage their yoni so they can re-engage the feminine, the receptive aspect of the feminine, So giving and receiving is like really fundamental to sacred sexual energy, to sacred sexuality, to lovemaking that starts to call in the divine energies. Which is why if it's essential, if it's the bedrock, if it's the foundation of meeting the sacred lovemaking, giving and receiving, then we need to look at where we resist giving and where we resist receiving, and we don't even know we're doing it. Yeah. So as we started dropping into the giving energy and the wounding around that, by wounding it means There's an urge to give, a desire to give. There's something I wish to give, but I don't do it. And the question becomes, who do you blame for that? You know, can you remember when you stopped giving? And can you remember who you blame? Why did you stop giving? Was it because your mother and father didn't treat you how you like to be treated? You know, did your wife do something you really didn't like many times? You just stopped giving your affection, your presence? Did your husband, what happened? Who do you blame that you stopped giving, And I mean the giving that comes from the overflowing of the being of the moment. I'm not talking about the giving you have to give. You have to go to work and do your work. You got to take the kids to school. And sometimes you don't. You take the kids to school because you really love it, isn't it? So, this conversation around giving is really important, because unless we start to drop through the layers of resistance we have to giving, it's very hard to turn into the sacred journey of love making that opens the deeper gateways into the divine within your being. Really important. And you can practice it in this group. Like if I put a video up, you could like it. Isn't it? Like you can go like or love or say a comment. So you're giving something to this journey we're on together. Like what if you watch a discourse of mine that's a part of this, and it touches you, and you feel it, and it helps you in some way, what stops you from liking the video? Or what stops you from saying something? I really got that, Shima. Or I really got that, but I really didn't get that. Maybe I'm the dunce in the class. How can I not be getting this? But maybe I'm talking really profound spiritual understanding. Maybe I expect you not to fully understand everything. I expect you to be saying, hey, I'm not really getting that, and asking about it. What stops you? What stops you from liking or asking or commenting? What stops you? Because that's also like you've watched a discourse, you've received something, right? But what stops you from just dropping something back in to those of you that haven't at all, What's stopping you? Just in that moment where you receive a discourse and then you don't respond, even though you might feel something from it. Like, what's stopping you? Because what stops you in that moment is what is going to stop you in many moments, whether it's like giving a kiss to your beloved, or calling your mother, or sitting with a friend when they're having a hard time. Like, what's stopping you? Is it because you can't feel how much you've been given? That's your receptivity. That's more your feminine dynamic, isn't it? Like, maybe if we look into what stops you from giving, we can go back to you can't feel how much you've been given. Because you could feel in every moment, if we could feel in every moment how much love, how many gifts, insights, how much is being poured upon us in every single moment, I don't think we could ever stop giving. So in this moment, as we're looking into this, what stops the giving, what stops your love from flowing, we come into the feminine, we come back to her, spiral back into the feminine, to the sacred yoni. As we just depart slightly from the shores of of our beautiful being of Lingam, exquisite being of Lingam, who loves. The Lingam loves to give, you know. But yeah, there's so many stories about that, aren't there? So we leave a moment ashore of the Lingam, and we come into the place of this beautiful yoni, whose magnificent nature is deeply twined in the capacity to receive. And to receive this moment, to receive a gift from someone, to receive this discourse from me, from my heart, from my being, from my soul to you, to receive it takes vulnerability. You need to open. You need to trust me. You know, it's like, is she sharing truth? Is she really connecting to the Dakini Pure Lands? Doubt closes vulnerability. Distrust closes vulnerability. You will not be able to receive this discourse, neither the words of information I share, nor the deeper energies and feelings that are traveling here, if you distrust this moment. I'm it. But if it's me, you don't just distrust me, you distrust life itself. It's your pattern. So how much you can receive this discourse into your heart, into your sexuality, even to your belly. It shows very much where you are in your vulnerability and your capacity to receive. This is the great and profound, I want to call it genius, but it's beyond genius. It's the great shimmering of the feminine, the wonder of the feminine, the capacity to receive. But it calls for the Maha, the great vulnerability, to open to receive. It's a beyond masterful practice. And all we're doing right now is just looking where you're at with it. And if you notice, maybe I'm not so vulnerable. And I'm talking to men now very much as well as women. Please follow that. Men really struggle to receive, How often do you let yourself be penetrated in lovemaking by the energies that are present? Think. So it's an inquiry for you right now. I'm inquiring into your most intimate landscape here. I'm inquiring. Can you be vulnerable? Can you receive this discourse? Can you let it touch you? Because if you cannot, you also won't have anything to give to it, It's just a question. It's just a question that can reveal something of how in touch you truly are with your feminine. It's a beautiful inquiry. It can open into so many mysteries within you. It could change your life, this inquiry. I'd like to know if you can receive it or not. Please make a comment so I know where you're at. I'm sure I shall read all the comments, though I might not respond to all of them, but I will read them all. I would really like to know if you're receiving these discourses. Yeah. Cheers. I'm drinking cacao. I recommend it. Have a beautiful, beautiful night. Mwah. Namaste.